Hello everyone, today we have my first build video of TU15. I've got so many build videos coming out for you over the next few weeks, and this is just to kick it off. It is obviously with the new Heartbreaker gear set. I got two builds that I've made over the last few days around this, one for PVE and one for PvP. We're showing you the PVE version of the build today, and you're going to see some incredible numbers. I got a clip from this rogue encounter now that you can see on screen when I get 3.6 million crit with it. You'll have a look at the numbers when I show you the clip. It's insane. And then there's a clip where we're in countdown and we got some like more buffs activated, and I actually get a 3.8 million crit. I'm using the Kingbreaker with the build, and you're going to see in this video exactly how I make this build, and I hope it helps. It's probably not going to be the meta build, but it's how I wanted to make the build, and I'm really enjoying it. So today we're going to go through that build for you, and for those that have been watching the streams as well, you've all been asking what I've been using. I'm hoping this gives it you in a little bit more detail. Please do hit like and share to support this video today. Subscribe if you're new here for more Division 2 content from me. You won't be disappointed. I cover a lot of the Division 2 content on the channel. And lastly, before we get into this, we have a fantastic gaming community. If you need help with Countdown, you need some players to link up with, it is the best place to be. Before you leave today, come and check us out. The link is at the top of the video description. So let's get straight into the clips now. This is the first clip in the summit where I get 3.6 mil crit. You can see the damage numbers there, they're insane. And I'll move on to the countdown clip where we see 3.8 million. Enjoy these clips and we'll get into the build afterwards.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, other one's in.
Yeah,
One more's in. He's down. Getting that. Other one's inside.
Again, your buffs off that as well. 3.6 mil.
Yeah.
Fucking that's without the
that I got
on your rifle.
There's one more rogue left, I think. Yeah, one more left.
It's got 3.6 on an AR.
I've never been a
I'm
Division
going to go in the middle again for the generators. Right. A wise wildcat once said, "Get your fucking head in the game," but they didn't swear when they said it. But get your head in the game.
Yeah, it's
Don't
on the
make me sing
game.
it. 'Cause I'll do
It's
it.
on the top of the Arsenal game.
I'm on it.
I just got a
Oh,
3.8
we got
mil
Mark
crit.
again.
Right,
Did I
it's done. It cost me a life.
I was
I
trying
need
to
a pickup.
like what?
Oh, okay.
As you can see, those were some super high damage numbers. I was quite shocked to see them. And yes, of course, they are with team buffs as well. You're not going to be getting those sort of numbers if you're just playing solo or without those team buffs. On Countdown as well, you can counter the debuffs to you and turn them into buffs, so that also helps on Countdown to get higher numbers as well, depending on what buffs you get, etc. And in the summit, I remember Penny was like using a status effect build. I was getting some status effect additional damage. I think we had a future initiative on for more damage, so just want to explain that if you run this build solo, you will be seeing lower numbers, but still in a team with some buffs, this build is insane on the damage numbers. Even solo it will be, and we're going to go through it now for you. We're going to start with the specialization. I've just gone grenade launcher. I think you can probably use other specializations if you want to. I use this for the damage target out of cover and whatnot. But have a look at what specialization will work for you. The weapons that I'm using on this build as well. I'm using the new Kingbreaker. So this is the assault rifle that came in title update 12. I've got assault rifle damage, health damage, and damage to target out of cover on that all maxed out. And with the Kingbreaker, it has perfect flatline. It amplifies the weapon damage by 20% to pulsed enemies, and after 2 kills it will apply pulse to the next enemy that you hit. So using that as my main, and the secondary, because we're using the Heartbreaker gear set, it works by stacking weapon damage, and you want something really quick to stack that weapon damage for you. With the rock and roll, this is the named version of the ACS 12 that'll work just as well. With this, it stacks it very, very quickly. It basically turns it kind of into a striker build from the Division 1, you know, with the showstopper. The reason I've gone with the rock and roll is because I was looking at the talents for like the non-named version, and there's no talents that I thought did anything better than Perfectly Extra, which gave the 50% magazine capacity. The rock and roll is a DZ only item. You can get it out of named item caches, conflict caches, DZ caches, or you can farm the DZ when it's targeted loot on shotguns to get it. On this On this, I've got rolled shotgun damage, damage to armor, and I've rolled accuracy on it. So the reason I'm rolling accuracy on it is because I want more pellets to hit. If we have a quick look at the mods as well, I've gone for 2 accuracy mods there. And it just makes sure more pellets hit. At range as well, I'm a little bit at range, so more pellets are hitting at range as well, just to get those stacks up really quick. I'm not bothered about the damage on this weapon. I'll quickly go over the mods on the Kingbreaker as well. The crit hit chance on the build, once optimized, will be about 40%, and you're going to want to throw crit chance mods on the build. And with the demolitionist specialization, you do get this small laser pointer giving you a little bit more crit chance at 7% there, and obviously the extended mags on this too. So they're my main weapons, and they work on the build very, very well. My sidearm, which doesn't really matter, go with what you want. I just run the TDI card custom, and now this is what the build looks like. I've gone 4 pieces of Heartbreaker, and I've put them on the mask, gloves, knees, and holster. I've not gone with the chest, and I'm not gone with the backpack. The chest is very good, and I might do a build with it down the road because it increases the max stacks from 50 up to 100, which we'll go over in a moment. And what the backpack does, which I've used on my PvP version of this build, it increases the armor that you get back from 1% to 2%. So both are viable and really good, but I've gone with this build this way. Like I said at the start, this is no meta by any means. It's something it's how I'd make this build, and I really have been enjoying it over the last few days. It's been incredible. So the rolls I've got on here, because these do come with blue core rolls, so you're going to want to farm these pieces to get crit hit damage as the attribute, so you can roll weapon damage on the piece. You can see I got weapon damage, crit damage there, the crit damage mod. On the gloves is the same, weapon damage and crit damage. Knees are weapon damage and crit damage. Holster is weapon damage and crit damage. So that's how you want those Heartbreaker pieces if you're copying this build. And just very quickly, a Heartbreaker overview. For 2 of these pieces, I'm getting assault rifle damage and LMG damage. 3 pieces is giving me weapon handling, and the 4th piece gives me the Heartstopper talent, where headshots apply pulse for 5 seconds. Weapon hits on pulsed enemies add a stack of 1% bonus armor and 1% damage to pulsed enemies, up to a max of 50 stacks. 2 stacks are lost each second, and that's why the chest piece of this comes in very handy, because you can increase that 50 to 100 stacks. But we've not done that on this build. But what I have done on the chest piece is I've gone spotter, because you're going to be doing more damage to pulsed enemies. So we've gone spotter because it amplifies total weapon and skill damage by 15% to pulsed enemies. You might be asking why I've not gone perfect spotter. It's because on the perfect spotter piece, it comes on a brand set that gives you 5% total armor, and it's a blue core as well. So just by using this Fenris piece as my chest piece, I'm already getting more damage than I would using the perfect spotter that gives me 20% to pulsed enemies, because I'm getting the 10% assault rifle damage as well. So it just made sense. I threw this Fenris piece on the chest. It's got weapon damage, crit chance, and a crit damage mod on it. And for the backpack, I've got a Grupo backpack to give me 15% critical hit damage. I've got weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage, and a critical hit damage mod there. And I've got vigilance for the talent, which increases my weapon damage by 25%. Obviously, taking damage disables that buff for 4 seconds. So that's the build I've been using. I really do enjoy it. There is a debate on what to use on the chest and backpack with this. You could go 2 Walker instead. I think 2 Walker might mean you get a little bit more of a more damage output. I've not tested that. You could play around with these 2 pieces and adjust them a little bit, but I had a Fenris piece in my stash with a Grupo piece in my stash. I just made it work. I would suggest maybe trying this build with 2 Walker instead to see what return you get for that, whether it's better or whether it's worse. But it's such a good build. You hit some incredibly high numbers, especially with team buffs, and it's very, very good. The idea of this build is to obviously stack up with the Rock and Roll or the ACS 12 and then switch weapon when you're at max stacks to do incredible damage with the Kingbreaker. You'll be using a pulse as one of your skills to scan enemies with. Also, if you hit anyone in the headshot with if you hit anybody in the head with any of these weapons, you're going to pulse them as well. So aim for heads, use the scanner pulse, make sure they're pulsed as often as possible, and you're doing insane damage with this build. A lot of people in chat were saying to use the technician specialization, because with that you can put an attachment on your weapons. I forgot what it's called. I think it's a laser, and what it does is if you hit enemies with that weapon, it'll pulse them for you, which means you wouldn't need to hit them in the head. A lot of people said this, and they are right. It's a great way of doing it. However, Personally, I prefer to have the grenade launcher specialization. I'll just aim for the heads to get the headshot before I start, you know, that extra damage, and just make sure I hit my heads really. And I think as long as you can hit headshots, you don't need that, which means you'll get more damage out of the build with the damage to target out of cover from this. But each to their own. And I do have a scanner pulse on me to back me up as well, in case I do just want to scan them too. And I prefer it this way, but you can get a technician specialization on for that laser pointer to do that as well. I run it with a hive as well, just in case I go down, just for added security. And very quickly before we end, just to have a look at the stats on the build. It isn't optimized, as you've seen. I need to go through and optimize the build. But my 36.4% critical hit chance, I always aim for about 40, which is where it'll be when it's optimized. Because normally I'm always running with a team and someone's got a coyote mask on, you know? So if you're the same, aim for about 40% crit chance like I do. But if you're a solo player, you probably want to lose some crit damage just to get probably up to 50% crit chance if you can. You could do that through the mods. Just drop a mod for a crit chance mod or two and you're sorted. My critical hit damage with it, how I have it, is at 160.3%. Again, once it's optimized, that's going to go up a little bit, but that's what the stats look like. So just to conclude, I've been having a ton of fun with this build. It's the first build we put together in TU15. I recommend it for all sorts. I've been playing open world activities with directives on heroic. We've been doing heroic content. It absolutely breezes through that. We've been using it for countdown. It's been very good for countdown. I've not yet had the opportunity to use it on a raid, but I'm absolutely confident this build will work fantastic on a raid too. As you know, I do tons of raids and I'm looking forward to testing it out on that. It'll do absolutely fine. But I did also test it on some legendary content as well. We did some legendary summit. It worked great in that also. So it really is a good build. I won't say is definitely, we've already said this a few times, not the meta way of making the build. It certainly won't be the meta for legendaries or whatnot, but it does work. It's a fun build to use, and yeah, I really, really rate it. You're kind of getting like glass cannon sort of numbers without wearing the glass cannon, and I think that's absolutely brilliant. Let me know how you make this build in the comments. I'm interested in hearing how you make this build. It's always good to see. Give me some ideas as I rework this build and make different versions. If I do, I will release them. As I said earlier at the start, we do have a PvP version of this build. I'm going to release that tomorrow. I used it in the Dark Zone the other day. We absolutely wrecked with it. We went on Manhunt. We had some fun with it. It really, really worked. You had a constant pulse all of the time as well. That's good. That video is going to be tomorrow, so you can check that out then. I'm going to end this here though. Thank you for watching today. As I said earlier, please do hit like and share to support it. Subscribe if you're new for more content. And now that we're done, come and check out our community. Until next time, thank you for watching. Stay safe and peace out.